made these games. And the funny part is, I made them without writing any codes. Yep, and I'll show you how I did that. So if you want to make games without coding, you'll be happy you stumbled upon this video. We'll be using Godot for that. You can call it Godot or Godot or Godot or whatever you like. It's a simple yet powerful tool for 2D games. So search for Godot download in Google. If you use Mac, click here. If you use Windows like me, click here, then download it. If you are rich, you can donate some money. If you are poor, make some games, earn some money, and then donate. For now, just unzip the file and run this one. As I have already installed Godot, I'll delete these unzips. I'll open my pre-installed one. These all are my ongoing projects. Firstly, let's ask GPT to make a simple playable Flappy Bird game. I don't know coding, I don't know Godot and stuff like that. It says to click new project and name it Flappy Bird Clone. So let's do that. Click create and name it Flappy Bird Clone. This is our main screen. Since we are making a 2D game, we'll click here. Now let's adjust the multiple screen. Click plus, search for node 2D, and rename it to main. Then add sprite and collision. We don't have any sprites for now. If you make games, you must know that sprite means image. We don't want to use sprite for the first phase. It says it will give me a zip file and I just have to unzip it and it will run. Why not? You can even use pixel images. Desktop or mobile. Let's make it for desktop for now. Let's download the zip file, unzip it, and then what? What to do with that? Okay, I have to import it. Let's close our Godot, import the project, and run it. But nothing happened. Just give me the full script, buddy, and I'll attach it to the main node. Let's delete this head thing. Create a new script, and paste the codes. It says error. Copy it and paste it. Now copy the code and paste it here. And error again. I think it's hallucinating for this session. So let's ask DeepSeek for the help. I don't know coding, I don't know Godot, give me codes for Flappy, and it says sprite too. Let's stop this response. I don't have sprites, buddy. Do all things from codes, both the pipes and bird. Let's paste it. Save it. And run it. And the space isn't working. What's wrong with the code, man? Okay, it gave another code. Let's replace the old one and run it. Wow, I never thought it would actually work. It's actually pretty good. So our first phase was a success. Now let's move to phase 2 and make Flappy Bird, like the original one. I'm sorry, guys. We mistakenly deleted all the recordings of our second phase, but the final game looks like this. Now this is our third phase where we will make entirely new game based on click-to-jump mechanics. This is our main eagle. I use this image as reference in Flow to create flying and running videos. And using the videos, I made sprites. All these are AI-generated images for coin, power-ups, and obstacles. So, let's get started. Let's create a new project. Create a new 2D node. Name it main. Let's ask AI to make a parallax background. We will start this phase with the background. It says to name the main node as game, so let's do that. We have to add parallax background node and name it busy. Add parallax layer node and name it busy layer. Add sprite 2D to busy layer and name it busy sprite. Let's add these two images to Godot and put them in assets folder. But we don't have that folder, so let's make it and move them inside. Let's add our background image and set the mirroring value to length of the screen. Let's save our game scene and test it. Yep, it's working. Create a new script for the busy layer and paste this code. Let's run it. It's moving in opposite direction. So let's change value to -30. And it's working. The ground seems to work too. So let's move forward and add the bird. Let's minimize background stuffs and add a new child node in game. Let's rename it to bird. I created different animations for the bird and pasted this bird script. And now let's put the bird in the position. Test it. And it isn't working. So what's the problem, buddy? Why isn't it moving? Input map is not the problem here. So let's replace the codes, change codes for busy layer and ground layer, and make a new script for main node. And add this line in process delta. Okay, let's run it. It's working, but the collision isn't working, the flap is too slow, and the background started moving in opposite direction again. So let's first change the value to minus and delete half of the bird's flap sprites. It looks good now, but the bird's size is a bit big. Let's make it small. The collision problem exists, and the bird isn't playing glide animation, so I need to add collision as sky limit and ground limit. Add the collision shape to the bird and change the bird script. It gave error on idle animation, which is actually my mistake. I haven't made that animation yet. So let's make it, save it, and check it. And it's error again. Let's see. Yep, my mistake again. The names of these nodes are not right. So I corrected the name and added the new group for parallax layer. And let's test it again. Yep, the collision is working, run animation is working, and glide is working too. But this glide animation kind of looks weird, so let's remove this image from glide animation. And this glide is up to my expectation. Now, we want vines. These will be soft obstacles. They won't kill, but drag the bird with them, and should break during dash. So, let's create a vine scene, and add our main vine sprite. Let's adjust the size for the obstacle and add the collision shape. And of course, I want all the scripts. Okay, let's add script for vines and paste it here. Make vine spawner, add timer to it, and put timer of 2 seconds. Copy the script and paste it for vine spawner. Add vine scene inside spawner. Paste this speed variable. And we have a problem. Let's ask what the problem is. It seems the name is different. Let's change the name. Yep, it's working perfectly, but we want them to spawn on top. So let's replace this long thing with 20. And still off the line. Let's make it -10. And now it works perfectly. I have made images for obstacles and power-ups. It's floating ground, it's base, small fruit, big fruit, tree 1, tree 2, and 2 mushrooms. I also made new vine and it's breaking sprites. So let's replace the vine and check it. And it works. Now let's add breaking animation for the vines. Now let's add animated sprite 2D and set visible to off. Let's add sprites and make it 10 frames per second. For the falling effect, let's add rigid body 2D, add sprite, and rename it to debris sprite. Let's copy the vine script, paste it, save it, and that's it, I guess. Now we need to add dash, because without that, we won't know if that works. For that, we need to add dash animation to the bird. Let's replace the old bird script with the new one. Save it, and run it. Yep, it works. But the problem is, the vine still shows up for a moment, and it blocks the bird. And these pieces are from debris, I think. So let's ask about this after image. Okay, let's replace the break vine function. I've turned the collision shapes visible to see if there is any mistake regarding collision. And it has more problems now. The vine isn't breaking, and the maximum right limit for bird has been removed. Also, let's make it so that the bird can cross the limit, but will return back to max limit. So let's replace the bird script, save it, and run it. The vine isn't breaking, but the max limit is working fine, and it looks springy. I actually like that. So let's talk about break animation. And it gave the full vine.gd. So let's replace the old one with this. Still not working. Let's ask Gemini for this one. It says there's probably nothing wrong with code, but the layers may have been mismatched. So I set the mask to 5. And it finally works, but the background stopped moving. So let's fix that. Let's change the BG layer script and game.gd, save it and run it. That's good. Background is moving and the dash is working too. Now, if the bird is dragged to the left, it should die. Also, we want the game to print you died after the death and restart the game after pressing spacebar. All right, it gave us code for physics process function. Let's delete the old one, paste the new code, and save it. Let's see if it works. It died immediately. Let's change the value to -200. We're almost there. Let's make it -300. And this is perfect. We didn't see the bird, but the print says the bird died. So it's working. Now we need the game to pause when the bird dies. Okay, we need to change the die function. Let's delete the old one and paste the new one. Now for isDead function. Where's that function? Here. Let's delete it and paste the new codes, and let's test it. Yep, that's perfect. Now we will add mushroom. Its only function is to bounce the bird. I created mushroom node like the AI said. Now we add the sprites to Godot, load the red mushroom, add collision shapes, and save the scene. Let's paste the mushroom script. And we have a lot of errors. Let's copy it, paste it. Then copy the codes and replace the old one. Yep, the errors disappeared. Now we need to spawn the mushrooms, like the vines. It says we need to add this line to the mushroom script. Done. Then add mushroom spawner. Paste the codes. Attach the mushroom scene. And that's it. Let's test it. There are no mushrooms spawning. Let's add this debug line. Yep, it's definitely spawning, but it's not spawning inside the screen. It gave a new script for mushroom, so let's paste that. It says to put the main sprite in 0 position. Let's make it visible in the main scene. Let's change the spawner codes and test it. The mushrooms are spawning this time, but we need them to be on the same height. So how do I do that, buddy? It seems we need to change the spawn mushroom function. Let's copy the new one and replace the old one. And it's out of the screen again. Let's change this value of 800 to 200. It's too high. Maybe 400? It's still off. Let's make it 450. This will do fine. Now, let's change the bounce strength of the mushroom. Let's change it to 1,000. And it's too high. Let's make it 600. Yep, 600 will do for now. Now we'll add trees. This is the first tree, and it's the collision. Let's create script for it and paste the codes. Add this function in bird script. Add tree to the kill group. Let's create tree spawner and paste this code. Now let's see if it works. Yep, the trees are spawning, and the bird dies while touching it. I added second tree in the same way, and it works too. So let's add coin and coin counter in the game. For now, we'll add this coin. I put it inside the spin animation. Copy the coin codes. Create coin.gd. And replace it. Add this function in the game.gd. Make coin spawner, and let's test it. The coins are spawning, but all of them spawn at bottom, and the scene is too messy. So let's put all of the obstacles inside one big spawner that spawns any one of them at a time. So let's make obstacle spawner node as it says, make a script for it, add the scenes to the respective places, and test it. But the bird doesn't pick up the coin while dashing though, and I know the reason why, and this tree is off the place. It says the position of the obstacles can be controlled from these values. I corrected that after some hit and trial. And now it works fine. I generated these coins from Nano Banana. So let's change the ground and replace the coins with new animation and add a death animation for the bird. Everything works fine. Now we need the bird to fall down after the death. So let's correct that. It seems we need to change something in process delta. Let's paste it and run it. This works perfectly. Now let's add floating ground with hovering effect. I added the sprite and its collision. Let's create a script for it, paste this code. And we are in red zone again. What's this thing, buddy? Okay, it's version error. Let's replace the codes again. And it's good. Now, let's create a spawner node, copy the codes, and paste here, and run it. The hovering is too fast, but it's working. Let's land on it, and we're dead. And the reason is this. We need to add static body 2D to act as the collision. And so we make this and try again. It's working, but the bird is behind the floating ground. Okay, it says we need to work on G index. So let's put bird's G index to 15. Let's see if that works. It does work, but this floating is too shaky. Let's change the floating speed value from 2 to 0.5. And this is exactly what I want. Now we'll work on the stone gate. We need left and right part of the stone so that bird can enter through it. So we made the gate node, as it says, added both the sprites, and pasted the script. We also made the spawner node and pasted the codes. We added the gate scene, and it's done. The gate is spawning, and the bird can enter through it. Now we need to spawn it to the ground. Let's dive into power-ups. Firstly, we will add shrink power. If the bird eats that fruit, it will shrink in size, and the bird should flicker 4 to 5 times before changing the size too. This will be our shrink fruit. Let's save the scene. Create the script, and paste the codes. Put this variable on top, and add this line to process delta. Now let's make fruit spawner node, paste the codes, add the shrink fruit scene, and it's not working. What went wrong, buddy? Yep, this line helps a lot. Yep, the fruit is spawning at this coordinate. Let's copy it and paste it. And let's replace the shrink fruit spawner too. And that's it. Let's change spawn time to 2 seconds. Whoa, what the fuck is going on here? At least it seems to work. The coordinates are messed up while changing the size. Is the collision shape changing with the bird too? Yep, we need to fix that, buddy. It says it can give me full bird.gd to paste. Sure, why not? Let's change the bird script and run it. And we have another problem. Let's copy it. Hey, buddy, it says this problem. And that was my naming mistake, so let's correct that. And run it again. It's working, but the collision is tailing the bird. So how do we fix that? It gave us a new make small function. Let's copy the new codes and replace the old one. And run it. The collision actually came down from that position. Okay, we need it to move towards x-axis. Your code made it go minus y-axis, so do the math and correct that. It's the new make small code. Let's replace it and run it again. Yep, it's working. We need it to be a little more to the right. So how do I do that, buddy? Okay, we need to change the stomach offset factor, but I don't know where it is. Let's search for 0.4, and there it is. Let's change it to 0.5 and check it again. Yep, this is perfect. We'll play these 3 images for flicker animation. Also, the previous thread was too long. It was lagging a lot, so I started a new thread. Since NewChat doesn't know what we're doing, I provided the codes for bird, fruit, and spawner. It says we need to add this line, so let's do that. Add this function to the bird code. Add this on top of process delta. Replace these 2 lines with this one. And that's it, I guess. Let's test it. Yep, it's working. But we need the game to pause while this happens, so let's work on that. It says we only need to replace this play shrink then apply function. So let's see if it works. Yep, this absolutely works. In the same way, I added the big fruit. I replaced the walking animation of the bird. Now, it doesn't look like a crippled bird. I also made the mushrooms smaller and added the bounce animation. Now the game looks like this. If you remember, we haven't fixed this problem yet. Except for that, everything seems to work fine. Even the mushroom is bouncing properly. So, let's fix this problem. If I'm not wrong, when the dash activates, the collision shape is disabled. And it turns out, my logic was correct. It says the problem can be solved by changing the layer and mask. So, I gave it mask and layer for every major nodes. I changed it exactly like the instructions. Now let's check it if it works. We just dash. We died. Yep, it's working correctly. Okay, now let's add score text. We'll make it 10 points per second. So let's add a label node. Rename it to score label. Let's position it somewhere on top and add the score text. Add these lines on GameScript and add onReady at the top of the game. It seems we need to add a new function too. Where did this error come from? Function is missing. Okay, here it is. Let's add this and the error is gone. It seems there's nothing more. Let's save it and run it. And it's working perfectly. But we want the score to be 1, 2, 3, 4, not like 10, 20, 30. So let's fix that first. Let's replace these two lines with this code. Replace the process delta. Delete this line. And yeah, that's it. Let's test it. The method is working, but the score starts even before starting the game. Let's fix that. Looks like we just need to add these two lines inside process delta. That does the trick. Now we need to add coin counter. It's said to create a UI thing and add both score and coin inside that. So I made this and added coin label. And it's perfectly working. For extra touch, let's add coin with the score value of 25. So we need to paste this constant in GameScript. Add these two lines in add coin function, and that's it. Let's test it. Our score is 50, 60, 70, and over 100, so yeah, this seems to work. Let's try it again. 130, 140, and 170. Yep, it works every time. Now we need to add dash meter. We have been using dash freely, but we want it to be available only after a certain score, and it should reset after the use. I asked Gemini to generate some images for it, and we'll use this image as the meter. I added label and UI as it said, so we added both the images to the inspector. Now we need to add these lines to GameScript and these two lines in process delta. It seems to work, but we need to swap those two images. Also, we need to decrease the meter's size and put it on top. The meter is working, but it fills with a score of 60. The good thing is, dash isn't working. It works only after 100. After some hit and trial, I set the meter to fill with 50, and the dash works after the meter fills. I also replaced the background with a new one, and I added the clouds. It looks really nice. Now we want to change font and color of the texts. For the fonts, I downloaded some free fonts from this website. I also changed the color of fonts and placed all the UI stuffs on top right of the screen, and it's working as expected. I also added a floating stone. It works perfectly. I provided all of my sprites and asked Gemini to create start screen and end screen images. I almost forgot to add the shield. Let's add the fruit, the collision, the shape of shield after activation. Let's create script for it and paste the codes. Also, let's put countdown timer for the power-ups. Let's create canvas layer and name it Power-Up UI. Make labels for all power-ups and choose the font. So the game looks like this. The timer works too. Now only thing left is to add sound. According to the instructions, I created this audio player node, named it Run Sound, added the Run Audio, added few codes. It's actually logical. Once the run animation plays, play the sound. Run animation stops, stop the sound. The sound couldn't be looped here, so I'll later use a long sound for this. In the same way I added all the sounds and background music too. I also added the start screen and end screen images. So, let's play our game. We will later optimize this game and upload it in the Play Store. It may take some time though. When it's complete, you'll find the link in the description. I hope you gained some inspiration on making games without coding. If it's not enough, you can see this one. It's a platformer type game with more difficulty. And remember, life is a game, so play it well. And thanks for watching.